What if I told you that a single machine could power an entire city, not by burning fuel, but by splitting atoms? This is a nuclear reactor power plant where massive energy is produced using controlled atomic reactions. Inside this nuclear reactor building, complex systems work together to safely generate power. A nuclear reactor is considered a clean energy source because it produces electricity without burning fossil fuels. Compared to coal and other energy sources, a nuclear reactor produces far fewer greenhouse gases. Electricity generated by a nuclear reactor travels through power lines to homes and cities. Inside a nuclear reactor, everything begins at the atomic level, where atoms contain protons, neutrons, and electrons. A nuclear reactor uses uranium atoms packed inside fuel rods as its main energy source. In a nuclear reactor, a uranium atom is split in a process called nuclear fission. Free neutrons collide with other atoms in the nuclear reactor, triggering more reactions. This creates a chain reaction inside the nuclear reactor, releasing large amounts of energy. Each fission reaction in a nuclear reactor releases heat energy that can be harnessed. Unlike an explosion, a nuclear reactor carefully controls this reaction to keep it stable. At the center of a nuclear reactor is the core, where fuel rods are arranged in a precise structure. These fuel rods inside the nuclear reactor contain uranium pellets that power the reaction. The arrangement of fuel rods in a nuclear reactor ensures an efficient and controlled chain reaction. As fission occurs, the nuclear reactor core produces an intense amount of heat. This heat spreads throughout the nuclear core, increasing the temperature rapidly. Each part of the nuclear reactor core plays a role in maintaining balance and efficiency. Inside the nuclear reactor core, neutrons are constantly moving and interacting with atoms. Energy flows through the nuclear core as heat is generated and transferred outward. Control rods are inserted into the nuclear reactor core to regulate the reaction. These control rods absorb excess neutrons inside the nuclear reactor. By absorbing neutrons, control rods slow down the nuclear reactor chain reaction. When control rods are raised or lowered, the power level of the nuclear reactor changes. In emergencies, control rods can quickly shut down the nuclear reactor in a process called scram. This system ensures that the nuclear reactor operates safely at all times. A coolant flows through the nuclear reactor to carry away the heat from the core. In many nuclear reactors, water is used to absorb this heat efficiently. This water is kept under high pressure inside the nuclear reactor to prevent boiling. The heated coolant travels through pipes, transferring energy from the nuclear core. Different nuclear reactors use different types of coolants depending on their design. The heat from the nuclear reactor is transferred to a steam generator. The nuclear reactor uses heat to produce steam from water. This steam spins a turbine connected to the nuclear system. The turbine drives a generator, producing electricity from the nuclear energy. In a nuclear reactor system, energy is converted from heat to mechanical to electrical energy. Electricity generated by the nuclear reactor is then sent into the power grid. Power lines distribute this electricity from the nuclear reactor to cities and industries. A strong containment structure surrounds the nuclear reactor to prevent radiation leaks. Multiple safety layers protect the nuclear reactor from accidents. Radiation shielding ensures that harmful particles remain inside the nuclear reactor. Operators monitor the nuclear reactor from a control room filled with instruments. Emergency cooling systems can quickly reduce temperature inside the nuclear reactor. These safety measures make modern nuclear reactors highly secure. A nuclear reactor produces large amounts of energy with very low carbon emissions. Compared to fossil fuels, a nuclear reactor has a much smaller environmental impact. However, a nuclear reactor also produces radioactive waste that must be handled carefully. This waste is stored securely to prevent harm to people and the environment. From atomic reactions to electricity generation, this is how a nuclear reactor works step by step. A nuclear reactor continues to power modern cities, shaping the future of energy. As we move toward a world that demands more energy and fewer emissions, nuclear reactors may play a crucial role, only if we use them wisely, balancing their immense power with responsibility and care.